Yo, what's good, everyone? It's SAL, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of, it's the first episode, isn't it? Devil's Digest. We got Mark in the house. MarkN, what's going on, my bro? How's it going, man? I know you've been busy today. You've been everywhere. I know. I've been watching you, my bro. So I know you've been. Thanks for joining me, man. This show, Devil's Digest, is a new show that'll be every week, guys. We're going to be trying to do it every week, and we're going to get together through your request. Of course, everyone has been saying you need to get Mark and Sal in the stream together. You need to get Mark and Sal on the stream, and here we are, man. Here we go. What's going on, bro?
Big up to everyone in the building. I hope they're having a great morning. Top of the day to you, Sal. Happy to be here. Thanks for the request, guys. Big up to all of you in the chat. Sniper Man, Jim Watkins, all of you coming in. Big up to each and every one of you.
Big up, everyone, of course. Sniper Man, big up yourself. Jim, what's going on? Jim's been waiting here. We'll be here in 1 or 2. Goodness me. Big up, Jim, of course. Big up, Sniper Man, of course. Everyone in the house, of course. It's a new show. So just to let you know what this show will be about, we'll just be talking about everything Man United, basically. That's what it's all going to be about. And talking that real stuff. None of that fabricated, sensationalist stuff. We're talking the real stuff, our own opinion, the facts, basically. Yeah, I mean, what I've been listening to you, Mark, today in regards to the other stream you're on just now. Yeah. Mate, the aggression that's going on, man, it's a bit crazy right now. We got loads of stories going around. People are turning against Ineos already, saying that, are Ineos actually that good? What are they actually doing? They're just posing for the cameras and things like that, man. What do you make of that, bro?
It's interesting, man. Everyone's upset. I think it's fair to be upset. United haven't started pretty well this season. We've spent a lot of money. We are a big club, historic, magnificent culture. We have amazing fans. We contribute, we support every day. And I think the fans are just disappointed. And it's understandable. Like some of us might have more patience. Some of us might have more. We might be wanting more, accepting less. And I just think it's fair for the most part, but I also think that maybe after the summer, we all got this hype. It was really a good vibe around Manchester United and the fan base with the purchases and the appointments and the structure. And I think we need to focus on that more than we focus on anything else, because we're starting to go into a trend of the past, which really is a bit difficult for me to understand, because we didn't have this kind of structure. We didn't see this kind of summer really since Sir Alex was here. It was very economically savvy, and we've got some quality players in. So I think the manager out situation is kind of blinding others on the fact that this summer is brand new to Man United. We're going through a brand new change from the hierarchy upwards. As you can see, they've been scheduling regular monthly meetings to meet, to discuss things, to keep ahead and abreast of the current situation, try to get some more transparency and accountability throughout the club and express that towards the fans. And I think we have to be more patient for that. And, Ineos, some of us might want Ineos to make a decision, whether it be to sack the manager or to back the manager. And I think they will make that decision, but we should just trust them. I know the whole situation with the team and the manager is a big thing, but we finally got a structure that we actually asked for. So I think that's what we need to focus on right now.
I think it's a bit crazy, isn't it? When people are talking about at last, Ineos are going to do it their way. They're going to do it different, and then when it comes to trying to do things differently, people are calling them out, and saying, oh, you should be sacking the manager. You should be sacking the manager. That's what the Glazers did, though, isn't it? So it's like you can't win. At the end, they're trying to do things different. They're trying to wait this out a little bit. Just wait and see what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? If it does work out or not, give him till the end of the season or give him till Christmas. But if we got the fans on their case, continuously shouting abuse at the manager, at Ineos and stuff, how can anyone do the job at the end of the day? Because you know what? I trust in what they're going to do. Regardless of what they do, I'll trust in what they want to do, because it is all about Ineos now, right? For me, I think they've done very well to handle the pressure. I think they've done bravo. I think they've done good, because a lot of managers would have buckled. A lot of owners would have buckled under the pressure in regards to sacking Ten Hag after the Aston Villa game or after the Spurs game. They've waited this out. They're literally understanding what's going on at the football club, researching what the actual root of the problem is, because it's not just the manager. And I said it, this thing is multi-layered. This thing is a lot, fundamental issues at this football club, lots of issues at this football club, not just one. And you can tell that with the so-called leaks that are coming out, the dressing room again, about how then the players don't like training. You know, we've heard that all before. We heard that under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, that, oh, it's a schoolboy training, teacher training, stuff like that. They don't like Ragnick, don't like the way he talks. They make fun of the way he talks, all this stuff that comes out the dressing room, you know. And where is that coming from? Do you know what I mean? Where is this coming from? And that is what Ineos are doing well, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on in regards to leaks and stuff going on at Man United again?
Bro, sometimes I do actually wonder about it in the perspective of, is it actually true in most cases, the leaks? Because, you know, we hear about some of these stories, and sometimes to me, I find it sound atypical in the sense that, is it really that is a leak, or is it really that is a story that they're bringing about that they've had before, that they've talked about earlier, previous months ago, that they just want to bring about? Because like I said, you know, we know the management will be talking about Ten Hag in their meeting. The meeting may not have been about it, but the media made the entire meeting about sacking Ten Hag. So it's one of those perspectives for me where I look at it like, I hope we don't have players continuing to leak these things. I hope we have a better camaraderie. Of course, they might not agree with all the manager's decisions on his tactics or his style, but one thing the players should understand is that the manager does defend them when they play well, even when they play poorly, from the media and even fan criticism. So I think they should have some level of respect in between each other for that. And they shouldn't be leaking. If there are players leaking, I would be worried who those players are more than anything else. I wouldn't really be happy to be hearing those things, because these things destabilize team unity. You know what I mean? Destabilize, it undermines the management. It not only makes the manager look bad, but the executive structure looks bad, because it seems like they can't contain issues, because then the players would have no communication to them, which is what they're trying to push out right now, that there's steady communication from top to bottom.
Trust me. Manchester is red forever. Big up, bro. We should try and buy Raum from RB Leipzig in January. We need a good left back, mate. We've been screaming out for a left back. Do you know what? If it was Ipswich Town, if it was Aston Villa going into the season without a left back, every one of us would be saying, why didn't they sign a left back? Do you know what I mean? And we've been saying about a left back for a long time. Of course, we've got Harry Amas. We believe in our youth, but he's not playing Harry Amas. People are telling me he's not ready. What are your feelings on Harry Amas' situation?
Sometimes you got to throw someone in the frying pan from the fire, bro.
Trust me. And that's what Sir Alex Ferguson did. He threw all those players in the fire. You know, there you go. On your way, man. Do you know what I mean?
I'm a little bit old school like you, Sal, and some of the guys in the chat. You know, I might look pretty young, but I've been watching United for about 30 years now, and I feel like we have to stick to the traditions. You know, you got to be brave sometimes. You got to take risks. You know what I mean? You got to be able to hold a loss or a draw as a manager as well on the risks that you take, and still keep taking them, because it doesn't mean that you're wrong. Sometimes it just doesn't work. We've seen it under Sir Alex. He took a lot of risks. You know what I mean?
Now, people wanted him out. There was a time people wanted him out. Even back in the 90s, people wanted him out, early 90s. And people forget about even in around 2000, 2003, people wanted Martin O'Neill as manager. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. People are crazy at the end of the day. Fans are just mad sometimes, you know. And despite everything he's achieved, you know, I just feel like the biggest issue I'm having is that a lot of people were Ten Hag out from the beginning of the season. Some of them were before he even became a Man United manager, you know. 100%. And, you know, a lot of those people felt a bit embarrassed last season, I would say, a bit embarrassed about, you know, being shown up with the FA Cup final and everything like that. And then people are calling for Southgate to be manager and various other managers to be manager, Tuchel to be manager. None of those managers would have done what Eric Ten Hag did in the FA Cup final. I guarantee you that we would have lost that game. 100% would have lost that game. The tactical mastership from Eric Ten Hag was incredible, right? Now, it's disappointing. I'm disappointed this season. I've been disappointed this season, to be honest with you. frustrated, angry, not just at the manager, at some of those players. You know, because I know the capability of a lot of those players. I know that some of them are good enough, and I also know that some of them are not good enough. And my biggest issue is whether these players are good enough or not. Some of those players have been there for years, you know what I mean? And I just feel like some of those players need to go, man. Do you feel like if a new manager comes in, you know, some of those players need to go? I mean, about 7 of them, isn't there?
100%. And what's weird is that, okay, you know, like I'm a fan. I may know 1 or 2 guys that might be in and around Carrington, you know, but it's not something that I am 100% say that, you know, I'm going to be having the know information or anything like that. I'm just paying attention to things as they go. I feel like, you know, some of the reports come out and people suddenly think that the manager and the players, they don't agree with each other. And it's one of those things that's kind of weird for me, because if the manager and the players are suddenly, he lost the dressing room, why would I be seeing pictures of Marcus Rashford training with the manager and smiling, laughing and talking? Is it just for the cameras? You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes we need to, as fans, not really take everything as rules, you know what I mean, that the media says, because I feel like sometimes things and it's just to add to the pressure that's already on them.
You know what it is, yeah? I mean, anything is possible, you know. Some of those players could be manipulators, you know, as you said, that they could be good in front of the cameras, but behind the scenes. Or they can act in front of Erik ten Hag, and when they get on the pitch, they don't give, you know what I mean, those 50-50 challenges and stuff like that. They might just pull out that little bit of percentage. And, you know, like, I mean, if you give less than 100% in Premier League, you'll end up losing the game or drawing the game. You won't win the game. You have to give, everyone has to give 100%. And I feel like they manipulate. A lot of those players do manipulate. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't want to say anything too sinister, but can either be that or just mentally they're not up for the challenge at the end, because a lot of them have witnessed failure after failure. Do you know what I mean? Mm. And yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just, you know, it's just too much. Obviously, toxicity going on at the moment. You know, and sometimes I feel like, do you know what? Just give them their wish. Let's give some of these fans their wish. Let's get rid of Ten Hag, right? And let's bring in a new manager. And let's watch this new manager bounce occur. And then watch in a couple of months, the same problems start creeping up again, you know, and we're going to be back to where we were again. Maybe it's about time. Sometimes, you know what, in business, in life, you're going to have to go through the storm to find the sunshine. And you know what, we're just giving up. As soon as we go out the door, we're like, no, not on this, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like some people just need to calm down a little bit, relax a little bit. 6-7 games into the season, flipping out 6 points from top 4. You know what I mean? And a couple of more wins. We beat Brentford. Do you know what I mean? We win the next couple of games. There we go. It's all good. Do you know what I mean? And then everyone be singing from a different hymn sheet at the end of the day. But, you know, I do feel like Ineos need to show a little bit more clarity, you know, because they need to talk a little bit more. Even if they're backing a manager, come out and say, this is our manager. We're backing the manager. The meeting had nothing to do with Erik ten Hag being sacked. It was just a review. And that's what they need to do. And basically just because it brings toxicity, it brings anxiety to the fan base, and people are arguing and fighting and stuff amongst each other and stuff like that. And it's madness, man.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, back in the day, I think we had a little bit more open confidence as business people, you know what I mean? Like, we'd be a little bit more confident. Nowadays, you're trying to tread a silver line, you know, on a border with staying popular with opinion and being successful, as opposed to staying true to yourselves, you know. And this is one of the fundamental reasons why I've been, even though I'm it's not that great, I back in the manager, I back in this team, I'm trying to stay positive, because I feel like that's the tradition of United. That is our DNA as fans, as a fan base, as a club. We always had a belief that we would always make it through to the end. We went through tragedies, we went through bad times, we've been relegated, we finished 13th, we finished 9th. Yes, we've done it. You know, we've won it for 20 years. So it's one of those things for me, when I look at the perspectives, it's like, now I feel like it's only 7 games, and this new, you know, start that, you know, we are 5 points from relegation battle, but 6 points from top 4. so we are closer to relegation than top four. For me, it's a little bit boring now, bro. Like, because, you know, it's like whatever happened to a new season or a new beginning, new things could happen, new possibilities, the unexpected. It's like, you know, based on last season, we predict we're going to be in a relegation battle, sub 10, sub par. We can't win anything. But when we went into last season, we was coming off the back of playing 2 cup finals for the first time in 6 years, finishing third, going back into the Champions League, thinking, you know what? We taking the next step when we didn't even expect that, because the season before, Man United was apparently the worst team in our history, finishing 6th.
Bro, you know, when you go back, further back in regards to Sir Alex Ferguson, when he first started to go into European competition, we all know what used to happen. You know, we couldn't get out of the group stage. Galatasaray comes to mind. Fenerbahce comes to mind. Barcelona away 4-0 comes to mind. You know what? We lost many games over this time, and we ended up getting better in the end. In the late 90s, we started to get to semi-finals, and then we got to the final, of course, and won it. So, I mean, and that is the key to patience. I mean, in just the Champions League, when you're just talking about the Champions League, that is the key. But at the moment, I feel like we live in a generation where it's like, as you said, people are a bit like sheep. They don't like to go against the grain in regards to the opinions of people. They like to just copy people, what they say. It's a bit like Pep Guardiola and Pep Ball and stuff like that. Everyone wants to copy each other and everyone wants to play Pep Ball and stuff like that. But the process takes time. Everything takes time. We are, let's not forget, Ten Hag, right? When he took charge of Man United, we are in our worst position in our history, in the last 20 years, let's say, stuff at 30 years, in our worst position since the 80s. He's had to get that team up from the bottom and build them up, you know? And when you're trying to change a culture, bruv, when you're trying to change a culture of a football club, you know, from counter-attacking football, sitting back, getting on a counter-attack, to front foot football, dominating football games, you know, controlling the games, it's going to take time because you need a certain character to do that, you know? And there's a few players there, bruv. There's a few players there that I don't think should be at the football club. I feel like we should get rid of them now. The mainstays, you know, within the football club, I just feel like I don't trust them. I feel like the trust is gone, man. What would you do going forward, man? Like, if it comes to January, would you sign anyone in January? Would you sell anyone in January? I mean, it's easy to say sell players. It's very hard to make it happen. You know what I mean? Especially with the players we got. We got players on 350 grand a week. They're not going anywhere. They're staying put at the end of the day. Would you bring in anyone this January?
Well, 2 things. Before the season began, I was saying, you hear me say it on your channel a lot, Sal. We needed to bring in a man like a Rabiot and get me the Mario guy, the defender who ended up going to Galatasaray. I can't remember his last name. No, but Mario Hermoso. Get me those 2 guys. This guy could play left back. He could come in as the left center back. He would bring a sense of experience. He's professional. He have that dark art specialty coming from the coaching school of Simeone. Get him. We should have got him. A lot of people were looking at it like, we want to go young. Let's go get the flashy young left back at the time. I was like, look at it from a perspective. We still have other windows. We could bring in a player. We could have more time to scout a player, more time to research players, you know. But I also would like to see some of Harry Amasa and young Murray. I would like to see one of the 2 of them given some game time. We really need to make some adjustments, you know what I mean, in the left back area. I do like Diego Dallo. I rate him as a player, but he is not a left back. He's been doing a very good job, and sometimes he make mistakes, but I would expect those things because he is a left back. And when you're playing consistent games, there's moments in the games where fatigue sets in right before the second half, right before the last minutes of the game, and that's normal. The difference is when you're playing on the side of the field you're accustomed to, you're alert to what actual mistakes you need to look out for. But when you're playing on the opposite side, it's different because there's a whole flip. You know what I mean? He's not left-sided really dominant. So when some players who are left-footed cut to the left, he's going to be at a disadvantage. If they cut into the right, like Bukayo Saka, he's winning all day. You know what I mean? But so we have to look at it like we need a left back. Maybe we should get in a left back. I think, you know what I mean? And maybe we should look at like an experienced striker that could come in and just take responsibility. whether he
Yeah,
playing
that's
starting.
what Alex Ferguson did, don't it? Brought in Robin van Persie and someone who can just get us some goals, you know. But then again, what's going on with the creation from the wing? You know, I mean, I know those are young players. Can the striker do it all on his own? You know, because we're playing that 4-3-3 formation where you know you end up having the striker isolated with the two wingers and stuff. I mean, I'm an old school. I like the 4-4-2, bruv. I don't know. I just like two up front, you know, with the two wingers and stuff, and maybe like the Dwight York and Andy Cole sort of thing. Dwight York playing slightly behind. You know, I like that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? I think football's a simple game. I just think it's been overly complicated, bro. I really do. And I feel like maybe we should encourage the wingers to be more creative and less like, you know, I need a goal. I need a goal myself. Cut in, shoot. Maybe it's a little bit predictable. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the wingers themselves, well, barring Marcus Rashford, and then we drop Anthony to the side for a second. Let's talk about Garnacho. Let's talk about Ahmad. Two young, talented, different types of wingers for me. More possession based, one more direct. Now, we need them to feed off of each other. Now, they're young. Ahmad is 22, but he's not been.
We've lost Mark there. We lost Mark for a little bit. Here we go. Let me add it backstage. There we go. There we go. Yeah, can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, I don't know what happened
go
there.
for it,
I think my internet has been giving me some issues all day. I'm sorry about that.
Join the club.
I just think that for right now, this is the problem. The two wingers that we have that we need to get into form, besides Rashford, are both young. They're going to be unpredictable. They're trying their best to deliver in the best way they can, but they haven't found their best selves as yet. So this is a patient situation. Do we get a more experienced winger, or do we believe in these youngsters that throughout the season or by Christmas they can find that perfect rhythm for themselves? And I'm more on the latter. I'm like, let's be patient. They have shown that they can deliver for consistent games. We just need Ahmad to maybe get a goal, and that might trigger something for him. We need Garnacho to get a goal, that because we know every time he scores, he evolves. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the perspectives we have to look at before we look at, you know, the system really. Because regardless of who comes in, there are going to be options at the wing. So maybe either we be patient with them, or we start Xerxes or Højlund off the wing, play Xerxes in the middle, and put Rashford either off the right or off the left to compensate.
Trust me. Manchester is red forever says, I'd be saying again, Amas is still not ready. He needs 2 years to be ready to play top tier football. If you're good enough, you're old enough, man. I mean, I think he's good enough. I mean, I've seen a lot of young players come through at Man United. You know what? Lots of people used to tell me Gary Neville wasn't ready, Nicky Butt wasn't ready, Paul Scholes wasn't ready. I mean, over the years, you know, when we were smashed 4-0 to Barcelona, when he had to play a bunch of kids in the Champions League, people were saying these players are not ready. And even during when we won the double, we can't win anything with kids. When we lost 5-0 to Newcastle, 6-3 to Southampton, of course, they're not ready. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like youngsters are ready. And one thing youngsters would give you, Sir Alex Ferguson used to say it, they'll always give their all. They'll always give their all, and they'll always battle. They'll always battle and never let you down. And I feel like we've gone away from that a little bit. We're too scared about, you know, strength. I mean, football is not 1995 anymore. You know what I mean? You don't need to have physical strength to do anything these days. You touch a player, you're falling down. You know what I mean? It's a free kick. Nothing needs to happen these days. It's not like Vinnie Jones days where they're kicking Cantona off the park. Do you know what I mean? These days it's different. Football's different. Football's a lot softer now. You know what I mean? A lot more tactical now. So I think Amas is ready. I mean, if you look at Ahmad is playing in a tough position as well. He's young. He's young. He's small. Do you know what I mean? He's still playing. So's Garnacho in a way. I feel I just have to give this guy a chance. I've heard that a lot though, Mark, you know, like about players not being ready. What do you think about that?
I mean, I could hear it because when you look at some of these guys that just turned 17, some 3 months ago, some 5 months ago, you know, I think I'm not too stressed by their age. Like, I think the only way players become experienced and get to a level faster is by doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from the class where if you want to be good at something, get to the heart of it and do it. Learn along the way. You know what I mean? That's me. You could only do so much theoretical research and practice. At some point, you have to be practical about it. So I think, yeah, we definitely need to figure it out. I think, I don't know. I can't say that maybe Ten Hag doesn't want to play him or he doesn't think he's ready. I think it's more of a holistic decision that was, maybe we shouldn't just throw him in this season. But I have heard that the next Carabao Cup game would be featuring young Hamas, even possibly Sekou Kone. And even Obi Martin. So you never know.
I'm excited about Obi Martins and Kone. Really excited. The future's good. The future's good. And if anyone's going to bring these players forward, it's going to be Erik ten Hag. Because what's going to happen is, if a new manager comes in, all these young players coming off the conveyor belt of great young players that are coming through our academy, they're going to, honestly, I'll be honest, they're going to be forgotten about, because the new manager's going to want 200 million to spend. He's going to want his own players in there. I want to bring my own player. No, I'm not going to play any youngsters. I want to get off on the front foot. I want to win football matches. And he's going to start bringing his own players in. And that will put the young players further down the pecking order. At least now we have like a conveyor belt of players. We know who's coming through. We know who's next. We know Kone is coming through. We know Chido Martin is coming through. We know that Amas is coming through. The damage that a new manager could do to the whole structure, what we're trying to build, it cannot be overemphasized, in my opinion, because you know what? Like, not only will they have a new manager have all the backlog of players that Erik ten Hag plays, he's going to want more players as well on top of that, and just forget about our youth development. And people seem to forget about that about Man United, is that we are about the youth, courage, success is our motto at the end of the day, and people seem to forget about that. And it is a catch-22 for Erik ten Hag in regards to Harry Hamas. Of course, you know what? If he plays Harry Hamas and we lose 3-0 to Tottenham, for example, which we did, and they're going to blame Harry Hamas. They're going to say, why did you play him? Why did you play the young kid?
This is why I think Ten Hag has not been playing the youth a lot, because the criticism, he said it about Kobe Manu, and not 3 weeks after he said it, Black Ice was in the papers all over the media. You know what I mean? And I think we need to really look at it from a holistic perspective as fans. Like, we cannot allow the media to keep doing this, especially to young players. I could understand the other players above 23, 24. These guys have more stable mentality states. They already know where they've done lots of things. They might not care. But these young guys, as fans, whether it's a United fan or a Spurs fan, Liverpool fan, protect their young players, especially from the media. Should not have anything they should not have it. No point in time. They should not be discouraging young players. They don't do it in Spain. They don't do it in Germany. When young players make mistakes, you don't see headlines about them in Germany. Not even in France. This is a big thing, because in England, everybody is on the table. They have no respect for youngsters in the media. No. It's all about selling a story.
Yeah, this is the problem with England over the years, especially against Man United. I would put my finger on, like, when I think about England and Euro 90. Listen, I just throw in one example. Euro 96, right? England have just won. Man United have just won the double, right? No Beckham, no Scholes, no Nicky Butt, no Andy Cole. None of those players were in the squad for England against in the Euro 96. They just won the double. Best team in England. But then you had players like Darren Anderton, Spurs. Teddy Sheringham at the time, Spurs. You had those type of players in there. Only Gary Neville made the squad. But players like Neil Ruddock made the squad. But Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister didn't make the squad, just won the double. Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing. It's mainly aimed at Man United. We've had bias and hatred from us from day one. As far back as I can remember, I used to question, why isn't Andy Cole in the England team? Why? He scored 40 goals. What's going on? Why isn't he? I bet you, like, let's give this example. Euro 96, right? Right, you got Teddy Sheringham, you got Alan Shearer up front. You take off Alan Shearer, you take off Teddy Sheringham, you bring on Andy Cole. You know what I mean? England win that game. Win that game. But they didn't. They didn't want to play him. You know what I mean? They wanted to play their favourites, of course. Everyone and their dog got in front of Andy Cole, Stan Collymore. Do you know what I mean? Players such as that. Flipping what I've seen Chris Sutton. I've seen players like that. Do you know what I mean? And oh my God, bro, even Fowler didn't get in it, to be fair. You know what I mean?
I don't know what happened to the English FA, bro. But don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say I support England for the World Cup over Trinidad, but I will support them if Trinidad not in it to an extent. I'll watch the games because I watch Premier League, and I don't know if fans pay attention to it, but like sometimes you really have a player performing well. They should be in the team. It shouldn't be another player based on the fact that you know of his talent or what he's capable of. It should be the guys that performing best. And I've seen some English teams go into tournaments and they haven't taken the best players. They need to do better. I mean, England need to have some titles coming in. They need to win a Euros. They need to win a World Cup. These are things they need to do. You can't have the best league in the world and this large resource of talent and misutilize it for like more than a decade. It's crazy.
It's crazy, bro. And the thing is, right, Eric Ten Hag would have won the European Championships, mark my word. If he was managing England, he would have won that European Championship. He would have beaten Italy in that final as well. England they've always had the wrong manager at the wrong time and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Lee Carsley's come in now, of course. I mean, he's playing Angel Gomez, of course, years ago. There's videos of me years ago saying, look, this guy's going to play for England. And I was shut down. I said, this guy's going to play for England. It's taken a while. He's gone around the long way, isn't it? He's gone around the long way, but he's playing for England now. He's in the England squad again. Big up Angel Gomez, of course, guys. But yeah, man, can you see him coming back to United in some capacity?
I could see quite a few players coming back to United in the next 18 months. It's just if we're gonna do it where we will be at that time, how what United are they gonna come back to? You know what I mean? Because for me, there's so many different things and factors. Like, look, Dan Gore Jr. recently came back to fitness. He's been playing in the academy and he's been the man of the match for like 5 games in a row as a sub. And Dan Gore has been quietly sitting on our substitute bench for the last two games. And I'm excited because this is why we got rid of Hansen Oren and we sold him to Wolfsburg, because we decided to bring up Dan Gore Jr. And the funny thing is, a lot of these players have been promised things by Ten Hag, and he's trying to deliver to them. Young players as well. So, we must take into consideration that we could lose some of these youngsters because they believe in what Eric Ten Hag is telling them.
Trust me. Let's read some of these comments. Why haven't we gotten a free agent who left back who would be much better than Dalot? Alex Telles was available. Goodness me. Whatever we think about Alex Telles, I don't know. I mean, he didn't play enough for me to really give an accurate judgment. All I can remember is that goal he scored from a corner. Fantastic goal he scored, bent it into the corner, to be honest with you. I don't know about Alex Telles. I'm not a fan of bringing players back. I mean, unless it is someone young like Angel Gomez or something like that, someone can come back. But I'm not sure about Angel Gomez. I would rather have someone else, if I'm honest. To be fair, Man United was performing poorly in the season. That Sir Alex Ferguson said he would retire. 2001, 2002, only once he decided to stay long did the performance improve. 2001, no, we actually, 2003 won the league. Then we actually had a barren spell, 2004, 2005. Chelsea were quite strong, to be honest with you, with Jose Mourinho coming in there. But you know what? Sir Alex Ferguson was building, and it took time. It took years, and people forget about that little period there. It took years for Sir Alex Ferguson to build that team. I was sitting at Old Trafford when we were drawing 0-0 against Sunderland at home. We had David Bellion and players like that playing in the team. Do you know what I mean? And then we ended up building the team, building it. People wanted Cristiano Ronaldo sold. They said, "Oh, that guy's just a one-trick pony," and stuff like that. It was mad. Do you know what I mean? My God, and people forget about that little period there. It was like 2003. No, after 2003, 2004, 2005, and the beginning of 2006. 3 years it took Sir Alex Ferguson to build another team. And he built that team to the team that won the Champions League in 2008. Of course, the league in 2006. 3 times in a row, we won the league, of course. One of the best teams of all Premier League history, man. And that is the art of patience. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, Sir Alex had the reputation to demand the patience from the fan base as well. I just feel like a little bit of that, we are a little bit too analytically microscopic at the moment. This first 7 games of the Premier League season and the fan base melted down for me is a little bit new. I've never experienced that before. I've always seen the fans more patient, even in similar starts to the season. Even under Oli, he had one of the worst starts, similar points. We were just as low on the table, and he ended up finishing 3rd that season. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to Brian Foskett and Richard Hudson. I see he asking if Sal is in the Middle East, Mark is in Germany. Do you go to Old Trafford home and away games. Big up, bro. I mean, I'm not.
If
I'm
I was a
doing this
millionaire, mate, I would.
this season. I am going to a lot of the home games. You know, I was there for the UEL game 3 weeks ago. I'll be back again in 2 weeks, and then I'll be going more consistently from January. But you know, I have all tickets for almost all the Europa League games, so I'll be going to those. I just think that we have to look at it from a perspective where it's either we're going to have patience in this team to develop, or we're going to blow it all up. Because literally, if we get a new manager, that's what we're going to do. Now, he could be more successful than Ten Hag in the league in a shorter period of time. I can't predict that he won't be. But literally, we must understand that this team is not going to be the team because he's going to blow it up. Some of the players he probably won't like. He might not like Garnacho. He might not like Ahmad. He might not like, Rashford, or he might not like Hoyland. He might not like
You might not
Zirkzee.
like Anana, the goalkeeper. You might want a
Exactly.
different type of goalkeeper.
Exactly. So we have to look at it prospectively. Is one of the things that I feel like we should be giving this manager 18 games, half the season, especially with the fact that he got a brand new coaching staff. I think that changes the dynamic of the whole experience in the team learning process because they would have new coaches to do different things.
Trust me. Brandon, if Eric Ten Hag was a terrible coach, his former Ajax players wouldn't come to Man United and they'd stay well away from him, basically. Good point. That is true. They would not want to play under him again, would they? They would want to stay well clear of Eric Ten Hag if he was a bad manager. Eric Ten Hag's very, very respected in Holland. In Holland, they love him in Holland. I mean, he went back to FC20 a couple of weeks ago to do a charity game, didn't he? And that's the one where they said that he lost that game as well when he didn't. You know what I mean? In the media and stuff like that, of course. Manchester Red Bull Euro would never come if Ten Hag was the bad, not just Euro. Too many good players we signed under Ten Hag. Never come if Ten Hag was that. But yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, Euro, people want to downplay that we signed Euro because we gave him more money and rubbish like that. No, he liked the project. That's why he came to Man United. That's why he's here at Man United, because he was excited about the project. I mean, he rejected Real Madrid. He would have got money at Real Madrid. The real soggy biscuits are the Ten Hag outers, mate. So soggy biscuit is basically the clowns of the week, basically. The soggy biscuits are the clowns of the week. Yeah, definitely. Yesterday, no one had anything to talk about in regards to that meeting. We were end up talking about digestive biscuits and stuff like that Jim Ratcliffe was eating. You know what I mean? Brendan Chapel, I agree. Ineos need to publicly back Ten Hag or do increase the instability among the players, coaches, and manager and the fans, mate. It does not help. It doesn't, because people start talking, people start speculating. It's like the summer. You know, it must have been horrible for Eric Ten Hag on holiday, you know, in the back of his mind. What's going on? Why am I going to stay? Am I not going to stay? Do you know what I mean? Mark, what do you feel like Eric Ten Hag? Do you think he survived this meeting? I know it's a silly question, really. I don't think anything's going to happen anyway, but you see him being here until the foreseeable.
You know, the funny thing that strikes me is we heard 3 sentences, all same, from 3 different people. Forget Jim Ratcliffe, because he said that before the summer, right? But think about Dan Ashworth. He said, this is a long-term project. You know, we chose Ten Hag, and we plan to work with him to build for the future, right? Omar Barada came out and said, you know, we are here now. We are aimed to win the Premier League by season 2028 to compete and challenge to win the Premier League in 2028. We are backing the manager. We believe in the project. We decided to back him this summer, and we are working towards building. Ten Hag said in his first interview, we have great communication amongst the structure and myself and the staff. You know, we are building for the future. This is why we bought these players. We bought young players. You know, we know is our panel that's discussing the signings of players and the recruitment, not just Ten Hag. Even if he has a veto, there are enough people on the board that could overrule that veto, because he's not the only one. So I think we have to look more on a perspective that the structure decided to sign the players that we had this summer with Ten Hag. It's not just his suggestions. I mean, De Ligt wasn't his choice, and Mazarari as well. They were suggested by the scouting staff and Dan Ashworth. Dan Ashworth even said it himself. So for me, I look at it from the perspective that, well, he could possibly be sacked. We never know, because these guys might not be happy with what the performance is. They might be impatient. We don't know. But I would like to go off of what they previously said, not 3 weeks or 6 weeks ago, and say, well, I think his position is more secure. I would be more worried if we were 14 come Christmas. I think that would be a situation where we need to worry about him being sacked.
Yeah, I think he's bought more time. I think he's bought more time until Christmas. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, if they do sack him, what is new? You know, what's different to them and the Glazers at the end of the day? Sometimes you need to ride things out. You know what I mean? Because I have a feeling that eventually it's going to turn around. And you know what? A lot of the people who were against him are going to hide, and they're not going to say anything. They're going to hide. And there's a lot of fans who back Ten Hag, who've given up on Ten Hag already. Fair weather fans, I call them. You know what I mean? They've given up already. No, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to say that word. I'm out and all that. That's not what I'm about. Do you know what I mean? I really hope that Ten Hag turns it around, man. I really do. And it will show a lot of people up, number one, and it will teach them a lesson, number two. You know, and football is just a simple game. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about, you know, tactics and styles of play and stuff. Style's the buzz sentence that people are using. Style of play and stuff. It's just that they don't like his style of play. That's why they're talking about style of play. There's no such thing as style. Style of play is winning football matches. That's my style of play. At the end of the day, if you went up to someone and said style of play, what's Aston Villa's style of play? Then they wouldn't have a clue what you're talking about. They wouldn't know what Aston Villa's style of play was. What's Sir Alex Ferguson's style of play? You know, they wouldn't have a clue. Do you know what I mean? Oh, he runs on the wings. You know, he crosses, he presses. Yeah, that's what we do. You know, that's what every football club is meant to do. You know, I haven't had a decent answer for that for a long, long time, man. And you know what? I really, really hope he survives, win the game against Brentford, and we go from there. I mean, the Fenerbahce one's difficult. I mean, it always was going to be difficult against Jose Mourinho, Amrabat, Fred, of course, in their team. How long would you give it? Let's say, let's say worst case scenario, we don't beat Brentford and we lose to Fenerbahce. What's going to happen then?
For me, like I said before, I'd give it till Christmas. I think fair to fine. You know, it might be bad, it could go bad, but it also could go right. For sports are so funny for me. You can't judge it on a linear line because some players peak at different times. You know, some things click at different times. Now, a guy came into the stream I was on before and gave a good analogy. He said, you know, if you want a different coach, what style of coaching you want? If you look at managers, there are varying styles. Some managers work hand in hand with workers and employees. Some managers delegate tasks to employees and expect the professionalism and quality of the employees to execute the task best. Which one you want? I think Ten Hag falls in the latter, so I agreed with him as well. He said it, I agreed. And I think that we have to look at it prospectively that, you know, if it doesn't improve based on this style, maybe we might have to use a manager style who more hand in hand with the players. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm giving him till Christmas. Despite what happens, I would give him till Christmas. If it goes left, then I mean it's an untenable situation.
It depends how far we are from the top, to be honest. Because even if we're 8th or 9th, if we're 5-6 points from fourth place, I mean, you can't just sack him because you know what can happen after the Christmas. You know what? Notoriously, over the years, we've had good records after Christmas, and we've gone on huge runs, of course, like that. But Brendan, Wissam Ben Yedder is still a free agent. Sounds crazy, but his record of scoring is amazing for one season. The one thing I would say, Brendan, you know what? I mean, I've heard a lot of names thrown about this last few weeks, this months and stuff like that. We need to trust our process and trust our youth as well. We got players coming through. Why don't we make the next big thing? Do you know what I mean? Why don't we bring through? We got, as Mark was saying, Dan Gore is coming through the ranks as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm a big fan of Shea Lacey. Shea Lacey's killing it right now as well. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of these players. I mean, the other day we won 9-0. Was it 9-0 against Blackburn Rovers? And you know, we got some great young players coming through. The best I've seen since the class of 92. To be honest, and I think we need to give some of these players, young Scanion as well. He's brilliant, you know, and you just have to trust them and forget about these older players that are on free transfers and that. You know, I understand if you want to bring in a striker who can get us a few goals, like an Ibrahimovic type player, who can get us a few goals and experience up front, that sort of thing. But we shouldn't be signing players who are 28, 29, who are going to hamper our players' development, of course. I mean, 70-year-olds and he's cooking. Yeah, let's give Hamas a chance and let's develop. Absolutely, they wouldn't give him a chance in England. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Lamine Yamal, And they would never give a 16-year-old a chance. Do you know what I mean? In the Barcelona team, if he was playing for Man United, do you know what I mean? Most players, most fans will say he's not ready. He's too lightweight. He's not ready. Do you know what I mean? This is why I think Chido over Obi Martin is ready as well, man. Yeah, who are you most excited about, Mark, in regards to?
Kone. I'm a huge Dan Gore fan. I think he's the next Paul Scholes. People quote me on that. You can clip me. I think Dan Gore Jr. is the next Paul Scholes. I can't wait to see him play next to Kobe Minu because, man, they ain't ready for it. Trust me, ain't ready to see this brother play next to me. We're going to be a different breed kind of situation. They're like twins. You know, they know, like, they read each other's minds. That's the simplest way I could put it for the two of them. But I'm hugely excited about Sekou Kone. Like, I've watched, he had 1 or 2 games for the youth teams. I was able to see some bits of it. And I think he's, you know, showing the quality that we've seen in the clips of him coming from Mali in this Man United youth team. And hopefully he gets more chances. And I think the reason why he hasn't been, you know, pushed even faster is because he's learning English. And, you know, he's trying to get, you know what I mean? So adapting to life in Manchester is different. You know, it's a different climate, everything. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing him.
My big prediction was I think we're going to win the league. Not in 2008. I think we're going to win it before that. I do. I got a feeling something's going to happen. I've always said that. Whether it's next season or the season after, I think something big is going to happen at Man United, and I think it's going quicker than people think. People think we're not going to win the league in 2028. I differ. I beg to differ, man. I think we're going to do it. I think we are, and we have to just believe in our process. I don't think there's any youth team out there, any young players out there that are as good as our young players in what we got right now. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there are some great young players out there in the Premier League. There are, but as a team, as a unit, a conveyor belt of players coming through, plus the ones that have been added, I'm excited for the future, man. I'm excited to see Kone as well. Saw him in the African nations, obviously under 17s, wasn't it? And he was fantastic. And I've been watching lots of videos of these players. I want to see them play. I mean, I'm Shia Lacey. I've been a Shia Lacey fan for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Shia Lacey's brilliant. I mean, I'm a Wheatley fan as well. I think Wheatley is older than he looks. I mean, I would say he looks older than he is, should I say.
Yeah.
He's got strength. He's physical. He can hold up the ball. I think we should give him a chance as well, to be honest with you. Brendan, no fear. Absolutely. Who's this? Darko, this is a copy and paste message, definitely. Darko's not in the house, DA. Absolutely. Trigger Kim, how you doing, my friend? Bro, Sal, do you remember how you were at 17 around your peers? If you gave them morale, you'll do good. Actually, they can teach you. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to listen. You know what I mean? I used to listen to my peers. These days, people just want to argue and they don't want to listen, unfortunately. We had Cristiano Ronaldo at our football club, one of the most successful players of all time, top 3 of all time, and they didn't want to listen. Do you know what I mean? And to Cristiano Ronaldo. These days, like if you look at what happened in the past, you think about Eric Cantona, you think about the class of 92. Without Eric Cantona, the class of 92 wouldn't have learned as much as they learned. It was Eric Cantona, and they listened. They listened, and that is the important thing. Listen. Marcus Rashford has not progressed. He's not progressed into the player I thought he would be. When he first made his debut, I thought that guy's going to be the best player in the world. I thought, you know, that guy's incredible. Whatever it is, he hasn't improved. And I don't hear about these players staying at the end of training to train more. I don't hear about them kicking the ball against the wall, trying to practice their free kicks. I don't hear that anymore. You know,
I don't either. And it's shocking, bro. Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I think my internet has gone off a little bit there. Hopefully it's all right now. Yeah, it's all right now. Big up.
Me, like, yeah, we had the most clean sheets in the league, you know what I mean? Currently. Imagine that. How bad United are. After 7 games, most clean sheets in the league. That's crazy. You know what I mean? I feel like when we examine the nitty-gritty of it, yes, of course, there's negatives, of course, there's positives, but we already knew going into the summer that we on the evolution path. It's not going to be perfect. You know what I mean? And when I look at the young players that we have on offer, like I keep saying, Sal, you know, they need to listen to some of the older players as well. Take the leadership example. Johnny Evans currently in our squad. Big up. And you know, one thing I would say is that Johnny Evans showing exactly what players need to do regardless, it have nothing to do. Forget tactics, forget system. Focus on your performance as an individual. What you have to deliver. What is your responsibility to the team? Johnny Evans showed that against Aston Villa. This is what I want our young players to learn. Because if they learn that, trust me, the ceiling is unlimited for them. They will be better than Rashford, I'm being honest. Because that is the biggest problem. That's one thing I think Rashford never learned. I don't think he learned that he needs to be responsible for his own performances, basic, as opposed to blaming everything on other players, the coaches, and whatever else. I mean, you have to sometimes block things out. It's going to be a tough situation. But, you know, when you go on a field and you have a responsibility playing in a position, if you're not doing that to the best of your ability, you can't blame anyone else.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like Ten Hag picked that team against Aston Villa just to show the other players this is what you need to do. You know what I mean? It's a bit embarrassing that Johnny Evans was our best player on the pitch. You know what I mean? And Johnny Evans wasn't even a first team player under Sir Alex Ferguson. The standards were a different level. And you look at the professionalism. 35 years old, you know what I mean? The majority of our players right now, they won't even be playing at 35 years. I don't think they'll be playing at that age. But big respect to Johnny Evans, of course. Bro, Trigger Kim. Bro, Sal, do you remember how you were 70? Yeah, I think I read that one. Oh, by the way, big up Rasta Stocks, of course, all day long. Yeah, we're going to try it, man. We're going to do this more often, of course. It'll be more structured and stuff like that. We're building it up, guys. Big up. MUFC Now, big up. MUFC Now, big Ten Hag supporter, of course, on Twitter. The fight isn't in the players. Once the media and fan onslaught pines on, the pressure at United is incomparable. We need some serious mentality monsters on board. The Man United shirt is heavy, bro. The Man United shirt is heavy. It is, you know, it's different level. And people compare us to Aston Villa. You know, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing, oh, look at what's his name, Maresca. Look at Emery, look at, it's tiring, it's boring, as you said, it's boring because this is not Man United. That's not they're not managing Man United. Man United are different. You know what I mean? You got no pressure at Aston Villa. You got no pressure at Brighton. You got no pressure at Chelsea. There's no pressure there like there is at Man United. And let's see how many trophies they win at the end of the season. That's what it's all about at the end of the season. Let's see, let's see if they win. If Maresca goes and wins the FA Cup, something like that, fair play. If he comes third place and wins the League Cup, fair play, and gets to a cup final as well, another cup final. If they're not going to do it, and for me, it's all about trophies, winning trophies. You know what? I mean, you can't remember. If I told you 5 years ago who came second, you're not going to know who came second. No one, no one cares at the end of the day. We came second. By the way. I wasn't celebrating coming second under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Jose Mourinho. I was celebrating last season, though. I was celebrating in the FA Cup final. You know what I mean? So, it's madness when you think about the way these people think. You know what I mean? Definitely.
I totally
the difference
understand.
Go ahead. Sorry, bro.
Sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right, man. The difference is Sir Alex Ferguson really protected the players who were in our squad. Some media personalities were even banned from access to Man United if they weren't on board with criticism. The one thing I would say to Kim is that Sir Alex Ferguson, he was a great man manager, but not only that, many of those players who came into the Man United team were made by Sir Alex Ferguson, and they owed him their lives basically. Mm-hmm. David Beckham wouldn't be the star he is right now without Sir Alex Ferguson. All these players wouldn't be there without Sir Alex Ferguson. So they had to give their all. They'll never turn against Sir Alex Ferguson. You wouldn't even dare. So you're talking about 50% of that squad in the dressing room was like a father. Sir Alex Ferguson was like a father figure to them, and they wouldn't turn against him. Right now, we got a bunch of different personalities in there. You know what I mean? Some rate Ten Hag, some don't rate Ten Hag. Obviously, leaks coming out that some of the players are not happy with Eric Ten Hag. Do you know what I mean? That's how I feel about that, man. That's how I feel about that. If you were gonna change one thing, Mark, what would you change right now? If you could change one thing right now, as things are, what would you do?
I would bring Amas into the left back role and push Dalot to the right, and let Dalot and Mazraoui alternate. And I'd probably use Lindelof as a backup for Amas or left or Murray. I would let them two young men fight it out down that left wing. That's just me, because I will take a risk. Sometimes you just have to take a risk, bro. And
that's life.
you know,
Risk takers, isn't it? He who dares wins. That's what they say. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's going to be. I mean, at the end of the day, some of these teams that we're after, some of these players that we're after, those teams took a risk on those players, didn't they? At the end of the day, and you have to take the risk. What's going on, Manchester United Football Club, head coach, players, ownership, and fans? Please explain. Mate, you need a degree to explain what's going on with Man United right now, with the fans and stuff. You need a degree, man. Honest to God. Some of these guys, jeez. Big up to our Mark, deadly duo. Thank you so much, Brian. Big up yourself, my friend. Big up yourself. SAL is Middle Eastern, Mark in Germany. Yeah, I think you read that one, Mark. Absolutely. Yeah. Big up, Richard. Alex Tellers wasn't good enough. Nope. I remember, I mean, he wasn't given much of an opportunity, but he was all right. He was all right. I remember during 07, we should have won a treble. Yes, we should have. Referee screwed us out, put Rio Ferdinand in goal against Portsmouth. We would have won the treble again. People forget about that. We would have won the treble, double treble, of course. Big up, Mark. Big up. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to MarkN YouTube channel as well, guys. Ray, Carl Brown, Amory, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Same here. It was 20 games in now and 7 games, folks. I give up. Same here. It was 20 games in, now 7 games, folks. I give up. Patience is a virtue, man. Patience is so underrated, my friend. It's so underrated. You just have to be patient. You have to be. I've seen signs. I've seen signs of style of play. I've seen things go on. The one thing I would say to you is that if we get a new manager, it's not going to change. It's going to make it worse. I'm almost certain of that.
Yeah.
Brian, Kenny, we got robbed with a goalkeeper getting wrongly sent off against Portsmouth. Yeah. It was. I mean, there's many times where we got robbed in the Champions League a couple of times when Nani got sent off and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? For ridiculous challenge, of course. There should have been a yellow card, not a red. It was an accident. Brian, yeah, unfortunate. Sir Alex Ferguson should have won a lot more Champions Leagues, man. He should have won a few more, of course. Spend big in January 2025, summer 25. Man United need Pep as man. Come on, man. Come on. It's not happening. I've heard Klopp, I've heard Pep, I've heard Dola. Man United need to win an EPL. You're mate. I don't know if you're trolling Richard or what.
No,
do you know what I mean?
But Richard, he been saying that for since the season began, based on the transfers. That's just Richard.
Yeah, I know. He said that we're better than the 1999 treble season the other day. I think he said to me. Good. I don't know if he's taking a minute. I don't know. That's taking it. Goodness me. So you were Ten Hag out during the Spurs game. Watch along, but fairs. No, I wasn't. When did I say Ten Hag out, Kenny? I've never been Ten Hag out, and if I'm Ten Hag out, I will say it straight up to you. I said that the results need to get better, and they will get better. And you came on the next day, and I shut you down, Kenny, because you were saying coming at me with that negativity first thing in the morning. Do you know what? I ain't even drank my first sip of coffee, and I had negativity at me at the end of the day. Look, do you know what? I've been supporting the manager. People know that from me, from Twitter, from everywhere. I support the manager, but criticizing and being Ten Hag out is completely different. You know what I mean? You can critique. You could say he should play Harry Amas. He shouldn't play Marcus Rashford. I don't agree with the team selection. I've disagreed with Mark before about selection and stuff like that. That's natural. But saying Ten Hag, you're out is different. It's completely different. Absolutely. Come on, Kenny. Get with the picture, my friend. Anybody mention Spursy? Lol. Oh, my goodness me. Jack. Spursy will be Spursy. Spursy won't win anything. Don't worry about that. Royden Frost, style of play. Oh, what's Ancelotti's style of play? Exactly. What is Ancelotti's style of play? Winning. Winning. Winner is going to park the bus against us.
I wanted to mention something on this comment, so I was waiting for you to bring it up for the longest while. You know, everybody talking about Mourinho and what Mourinho going to do. I look at our squad and I see 4 players on the pitch that have beef with Mourinho. I see one man who have been playing in the last 3 games. For me, he's the best winger in the last 3 games, Marcus Rashford. And you know me, Sal, I always criticize Marcus. And I think if he continue in that vein of form when we start off against Brentford, I will be very worried if I was Jose Mourinho because, brother, we all know Jose Mourinho wanted to get rid of Marcus Rashford, right? Let's just put it out there. We all know that. Marcus Rashford, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if this brother drop a hat-trick against Fenerbahce. So I'm not even stressed about Fenerbahce. Mourinho could park the bus. Certain brothers, I know, in their subconscious, they want revenge.
Fenerbahce are notoriously attacking football team, though, so Rashford will have more space against Fenerbahce, of course, guys. We have a big history against Fenerbahce, Kenny. I know, Wayne Rooney's debut, 6-2, wasn't it? 6-2, and he scored a hat-trick. even before that, as we know, wasn't it? We spoke about it a few weeks ago about when they beat us 1-0 at Old Trafford when we were struggling in the Champions League, trying to make our mark. And they scored, was it Yilmaz or something like that? That was it, the guy. I remember it. The halftime with Faketa Summer. Mark, hello, big up, big up. Thank you for joining the stream. Big up yourself. Football's a simple game. Some people are yanking our chains, bastards. Jack Reacher. I don't get what that means. I don't, honestly. May call me slow. Good afternoon, sir. Truly believe it's a matter of time before things click. The issue is the fans will not allow it to happen. Sometimes, Jamie, I agree with you, mate. This is the problem. I'm worried about it. You know what? I'm tired, though. I'm tired of backing it. I'm tired of arguing with people, shouting at people. Listen, look, people talk about me and Erik ten Hag. I've had people on this show, right? People who've got big platforms who've come on my show, right? And I've fallen out of them because of this whole debate of being Erik ten Hag in. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, they get insulting, they get abusive and stuff like that because I have my opinion and they have their opinion. So no one can doubt my allegiance with Erik ten Hag, for goodness sake. Some people said I wrote the letter to Ineos. When I didn't write the letter, by the way, I just retweeted it.
I signed it.
Did you sign it?
I co-signed, bro.
I co-signed it as well. I copied it on my Twitter and people saying I wrote it.
Yeah,
they posted it on
I dare for that, bro, because, you know, listen, right? I understand. I could agree with lots of the other fans out there that were saying, you know, they're not really happy and stuff, but we need to break this cycle. See this 3-year cycle we've been in for the 5th time, brother. I am sorry, guys. I love you all as family because we are Manchester United supporters. We are family. Whether you're from China, wherever, bro, we all are family, right? But we need to get rid of this 3-year cycle. And if we had to keep Ten Hag to the end of the season to do it, that's what we need to do. Because listen, right? Sometimes you need to separate the goat from the sheep, is a Trinidad saying. And when we say that, we mean you will know who really want to be here at the end of the season and who really don't want to be. And from the moment we get rid of those who really don't want to be here, we will be a better team for it. And whether Ten Hag is the guy to take us to the next step, that he might not be. But what we do know is, let's not rewrite the history. Since he's been here, we've been to 3 cup finals in 2 seasons. We finished 3rd and we failed and finished 8th. True. That don't mean we're going to get relegated, but what it does show is that we possibly could play a cup final this season. Win the Europa League. What if we win the Europa League? I mean, Tottenham are the favorites, according to the bookies, to win the Europa League. I mean, Tottenham. Come on, guys.
On our day, I know we lost to Tottenham, but on our day, we'll smash Tottenham. In a one-off game,
I know
we'll beat Tottenham.
You know, Sal, I'm so mad at that Tottenham game, but what I even more mad is that the ref gave us a fake red card, right? And unlike the Arsenal game where they revoked a red card and turned it into a yellow, they didn't do it for Man United, but they rescinded it 24 hours later.
Yeah, and who would have known what? Like, a lot of people say we weren't playing great, I know, but who would have known what would have happened in that game? No one knows what would have happened in that game. Bruno might have got that ball and smacked it in the top corner from 30 yards. You don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's the butterfly effect at the end of the day. Like, at the end of the day, it was when we went down to 10 men, that was it. Do you know what I mean? That was it. We had no chance. We were only 1-0 down when Bruno got sent off. Twice, and I felt we were getting back into the game slightly. You know, we were getting back into the game. But when you go down to 10, what are you going to do? Your captain is off the pitch. You know, and it's no consolation to us that they rescinded it. It's no, what they should do is gladly replay the game or play the half. That's what they should, but they're not going to do that, are they? Royden Frost, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining the stream. We complain about progress. We have the most clean sheets. Isn't that progress? Yeah, absolutely. I've been hearing a lot of people saying we should play the 5 at the back. Nah, you know what I mean? We're good enough at the back, mate. We're good enough at the back. You know what? We're keeping clean sheets. There's going to be times when you concede goals. Everyone concede goals. At the end of the day, we're going to concede goals, but progress starts from the back and it goes forward. At the end of the day, when you start keeping clean sheets and then you start creating goals, you start winning games. It's going to happen. The most big chances missed. Who is our attack coach? Ruud is so. Why is Erik ten Hag the one blamed when we don't score? It's going to take time, though. Ruud van Nistelrooy, everything. You can't teach someone to be like Ruud van Nistelrooy. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day.
This is why I say, Sal, And I agree with Royden, right? For the sense that, Rude is teaching these players. Of course, they're going to be thinking about the different things that he's trying to tell them to try that will help them be better. The biggest thing about it is that it needs time. Like, we have 5 brand new coaches, a brand new set piece coach, a brand new goalkeeping coach, who, by the way, is rated as the best in England for playing out from the back. Now, we've seen improvements, drastic improvements in playing out from the back this season. But we've also seen improvements from set pieces. We've seen improvements. Look, we thought the midfield against Aston Villa was going to be ran through. Everybody talked about it. We basically was the better team, especially for the first half. And I look at it like, listen, progress is not linear. We putting together some good performances. We're seeing some positive changes and impacts into the team. Of course, we are not seeing the results to back it, but out of 10 games, we've only lost 3. Think about that.
That's true. That's true. And you know what? I would say it like this, right? Even myself, I'm guilty. When you lose games, you get upset and you criticize and you're angry. Of course, we're human beings at the end of the day. I'm tired of us. I don't like Man United losing. I hate it. Listen, when I was at school and when we used to lose games, I used to argue and swear. I got myself suspended and stuff like that. I don't like it. And then so when I'm powerless to do something, when I feel it's unjust, what's going on, I get angry and I say some things I don't mean. But I've never once screamed out, get the manager out, get that ball fraud out, get that peanut head out. I've never done things like that. Do you know what I mean? I just like, oh, this is not good enough. This is not good enough. But then when the dust clears, you're like, you know what? We only that many points on the time. If we get a win against Brentford, it's going to be all right. But obviously, till Christmas, let's see what's going to happen at Christmas. And then we go from there, isn't it? And we see where we are at the end of the day. You know what? There's still a lot of football to be played. Do you know what I mean? 100%. And people are overreacting slightly, bro, in my opinion. Let me just read some of these comments. Royden Frost, I wouldn't bring in Dibbling, and then we sorted for years. Yeah, absolutely. Let's not forget about Dibbling, the right back who's come in. Goodness me, he's going to be a star.
Well. You're looking at Chris
Which
Riggs
one,
as well. Chris Riggs.
Yeah, Chris Riggs as well. My goodness. We got a future. I can't wait. Big up, Mark. I just pulled through to support USPSUs as well. A big up, Mark. Of course, Mark is a legend. Of course, of the chat, always supporting. Big love, man. Of course. No one has progressed our youth to the first team like Ten Hag. Absolutely not. Has post Fergie. What will happen with them when he's gone if we continue? What's going to happen is that we're going to invest another 200 million and those young players will be put at the pecking order behind. That's what's going to happen because no new manager is going to come in, depending who it is, and know about what the good youth players are. They're going to have to learn, and they're not going to know who Dan Gorey is. They're not going to know who Shea Lacey is. If Amaran comes in, he's not going to be like, oh, that Dan Gorey, I've got to get him through the team. You know what I mean? He's not going to be like that. You know, it's going to take us back, 100%. What do you think about that? Do you think we'll go back if someone like an Amaran came in or something like that?
Actually, I actually like Amaran as a coach, to be fair. I don't mind him. I don't mind Edin Terzic, but the reality is when we look at their coaching styles, they're quite similar. People look at Sporting and look at some of these teams. Look at the Girona manager, Michel, right? They all have similar styles to Ten Hag. They sit down, write on paper. They're not that passionately outbursting. They don't go at the sidelines and go at the officials. They usually celebrate goals. You see them react to conceding, but you don't see them really shouting and getting animated like a Pep or like a Klopp. So I worry if fans would like them at all when they come here because they might say it really remind them of Ten Hag, which they don't want. They want a more passionate manager that looking like he's probably going to be fighting on the sideline, someone more like a Tuchel. But, I'm also looking at a manager who could work with the current players we have, the style of football we want to play, who might like similar players in the profile that we already have in the young players and keep them. You have to worry about, like what's going to happen to this starting 11 because we could say we want a new coach, but he might not like half of the players. What if De Ligt is not a starter? What if Mazraoui is not even a considered? What about our goalkeeper? What about, forget Bruno. What about if he don't like Ugarte, Christian Eriksen, and Kobe Mainoo?
Exactly. Yeah, Amaran's the only one I would choose. If I was going to choose another manager, it probably would be Amaran. It probably would be someone of that nature, someone who's unknown in regards to the Premier League. I wouldn't want any Tuchels and people like that. Do you know what I mean? No chance. Biko talks football players are giving up on Ten Hag with the man magic. Third season syndrome. Always said it. Big up, Jim. Legend, of course, in the chat. Thank you so much for joining, brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's get through this to end the show. Look, big up, Jack. Amas needs to come in. Can't have that. We've been saying it for a minute. We've been saying it, Kenny. We've been saying it for a long time. Most of the goals come from the left-hand side. How many goals come from the left-hand side this season? 7 out of 8 or something like that. Half-time with Vegeta. Greetings, brother. Big up, Jim, of course. Rick and how you doing, my friend? My two favorite YouTubers. Absolutely. Don't forget to subscribe to all the channels, guys. Absolutely. Let me just get through these last ones. Yep. Of course, bigger, Garnacho, Mainu, and Amas through his man management. Absolutely. Let's not forget that he brought Garnacho and Mainu through, yeah? Let's not forget that he brought them through. You know what I mean? People forget that. Against Villa, down to 10 men. Players ran for Erik ten Hag. Yes. Against who?
Against Tottenham. He meant
Tottenham, yeah. They did run. They did do well. Joseph, how you doing, my friend? Fans these days, we lack patience, but United struggle. Is that left back? You know what? It takes one position to ruin everything. You know, exactly. It does. And if you look at the Champions League final in 1999, when we moved Ryan Giggs to the right in midfield, because obviously Keane was suspended and we had to move Beckham into the middle and play Blomqvist on the left. Watch the balance of the team go completely pear-shaped. And do you know what? As soon as we moved Beckham to the right and Giggs to the left, crosses coming in non-stop. Crosses coming in, and Bayern Munich gave up.
Joe.
Big up, Joe Blackman. Big up yourself, of course. Big up Backhanded Entertainment. Know all about the guy. I mean, I see you guys on KG every single day, man. It's honestly, that's what you pay for, man. It's funny. Big up. Afternoon, big up Alex Addo. Big up yourself.
Alex,
thank you for joining me. Jim Watkins, thank you.
Big up to Jim Watkins. Thanks, bro.
Jim Watkins always supporting a legend, man. He's always got love. Bro. He's always got love. Was talking to Manx, who support us today. Rivals asking me what's going on with your club, but the Reds that support us that I've spoken to, they're not happy, but they know there's a toxic divide. There's a big toxic divide. And the reason there's a toxic divide, because we live in an era where people are worship their ego rather than support their football club. Sadly, do you know what I mean? I've been wrong a lot of times about Man United. Loads of times I've been wrong about Man United. Even now, when I look at things in hindsight, I think maybe we treated him wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. 100%. And it stinks. Even the Red fans said we shouldn't be divided. No other club has toxic. Well, in fact, divide. Do you know what? We hear about Erik ten Hag going on holiday. We're the only team that we know where our managers going on holiday to. Do you ever hear about Pep? Where he's gone? What he's on holiday? We're the talk of the town. Man City, the Premier League are taking Man City to court, right? And they're talking about Man United. For goodness sake, this whole thing with Man City, bro, it can shut down the Premier League completely. If every team get together and they say, that's it, enough is enough. If they say we're going to pull out, what are they going to do? Yeah, I mean, it's madness out there. Let me just read these couple before I finish the show. And Mark, I see how you get bullied on KG chat. He doesn't get bullied, mate. He holds his own by those rude aggressors. Most of them never have seen Ronaldo play. Listen, I'm screaming at the screen when Mark's on there. For goodness sake, I feel like throwing the TV out the window. Watch Bruno and Pelly. I have seen this before. We need patience. Yeah, we do need patience. Is key.
You know, absolutely. Like to me, Jamie, like, bro, I mean, everybody have their opinions, and some guys, you know, they have different definitions of progress and, you know, what they want to see and how they feel as a United fan. You can't be mad at them. You know, at the end of the day, bro, I keep saying, I little old school. No, you, Joe, bro. You know, I mean, Joe is always a good soldier, man. Don't be tough. But, you know, for me, as a United fan, I think the one thing we have not really had that much is patience. We always overly critical. And I just using this season as an example. It's been 7 Premier League games. We've lost 3. No, we lost 3, right?
We lost 3. We drawn 2, innit?
Drawn 2 and 1-1, right?
Yeah,
1-2.
That's the
drawn
one,
2,
yeah.
1-2, lost 3.
No, we drawn 2. Drawn 3, haven't we? Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, we drew with. We lost to Tottenham, lost to Brighton, lost to Liverpool.
We beat Southampton and we beat Fulham.
And beat Southampton, right? 7, yeah.
So for me, when I look at that, I'm saying, okay. And then I look at the other 2 games, the other 3 games we played, we won 1 and we drawn 2. So that's 3 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses, right? I'm like, this is not that bad. Why are we melting down as a fan base? We could come back. We've been in worse situations before. You know what I mean? And I think that as a fan, we need to realize that, yes, we could feel bad. Yes, we did get embarrassed against Spurs. Yes, we did get embarrassed against Liverpool at home. But those were days that have passed now. We're going on to the next challenge, and we need to have a fresh energy. The team needs support. Whether you like the manager or not, we need to support these young players in this team. How else are they going to succeed? If
people acting like we haven't lost, but people acting like we haven't been smacked up at Old Trafford by Liverpool and Tottenham over the last 10 years. Even before Eric Ten Hag came in, that part of the football, that part of Man United is still there. There are still signs that it's still there. We are capable at the moment of getting smacked up. We are. This is part of the way we've been run over the last 10 years. It's not exclusively down to Eric Ten Hag that this happened. We lost 6-1 to Spurs at Old Trafford. We lost, I mean, how many times we been smacked up by Liverpool at Old Trafford? 5-0 we lost to Liverpool at Old Trafford before. Do you know what I mean? Under different managers. All different managers. We lost 4-1 to Liverpool under Van Gaal. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just, it's still there, man.
We lose some, we draw some. Of course, we want to win them all. But just as much as you want to win, you can't be afraid of losing a game, bro. That's just how I look at football.
Exactly. Yeah, let me just get through all these. I've got so many comments, man. Big up, of course, guys. I'll get through them, guys. Definitely. Big up, Joe Blackman. I wanted Ten Hag to work. If it turns around, it turns around. I'm here for it again. But for now, I'm done. He's out of here.
Yeah, you're mad right now. You're mad right now at Ten Hag, bro. I could understand him too.
What about Marcel, though? Marcel, I never thought in a million years. If I was going to put a bet on Marcel, right, he's going to be Ten Hag in for the rest of eternity. But you know what? He's turned. I believe anything these days.
But you see, the thing with Marcel is everybody around him turned. KG was holding on till late and capitulate. So Marcel is like, when you're getting battered from all sides, he has reached a point where, bro, maybe I am wrong. But I'm one of those kind of guys that, bro, I would, at the time when I get battered from all sides is when my defenses become stronger, because I'm like, bro, maybe I'm right. Because sometimes we could be hindsight geniuses, but we could be foresight foolish. And I think that, a lot of fans, while we see it in the now that we're not great, you definitely can't say if we had 10 more games with the performances in some of the games we have, even when we lost to Brighton, I think that game could have gone the other way because we had a goal disallowed. We could have had a penalty. In almost every game, we could have had a penalty that we have not been given. Imagine that. You know what I mean? So I just think we could improve just as much as we could go left. That's just me.
Absolutely. On that note, brother, it's been a great show, man. Big up MarkN for joining me. We're going to try and do this every week, guys, of course. We're going to fit it into every week. We're going to do at least one show a week. And thank you for joining me, everyone. It's been a fantastic show. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video. MarkN, you can, if you tell them where you can find you and stuff like that as well. For those watching.
As you can see it on the screen, guys, join me, MarkN MUFC fan channel, bro. You can find me here on his chat every single day. I'm always in the chat. You could find me on KG's channel as well. Joe Blackman, you could find me on Backend Entertainment as well, or you could find him. Just come in, like the thing, subscribe. We're all Manchester United fans. Discourse is always welcome. Whether you're Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out, Ten Hag out, you're welcome. If you're a rival fan and you just want to talk football, we're here for it. So big up to you guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for SAL for having me. Maybe we might get Elite Baller in on this soon because, he's been missing.
What's happened to Elite Baller? I haven't seen him in a minute, though.
Yeah,
is he all right?
I haven't seen him in a few days, but I think he's cool. I think he's working. I think it's work. I have to hit him up this week. Maybe I'll hit him up later on. But yeah, I think it's work because I seen him on a chat last night. So maybe he's been working the night shift. The day shift. So maybe, I don't know.
All right, man. Big up, MarkN, and big up the chat. Have a great day, everyone, and we shall see you soon, man. Take it easy. Peace.